Hi, welcome to Comic Talk. I'm Josh.
And I'm just here for the free popcorn, of which there is none.
I was going to say, there's fucking free popcorn. Nobody told me. This is our weekly comic review for our pull list. And this is January 21.
No, not even close.
23? 26?
27.
27. 21 was last week, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Maybe that's what the deal was. Okay, well, this is the 27th. We have a ton of titles this week. Everything,
literal shitload.
Yeah, everything came out at once for us. We do our best. This is something we should maybe talk about this sometime too, where like sometimes just you get everything and then other times you get very little. So we have 6 issues. There was other 7. You're right, and there was other stuff we wanted to read, but it's just too much. We can't do that much. So
we can't do everything. I'm sorry.
Yeah, so we'll probably end up doing some of the things that are coming out because there's just a bunch of cool stuff like in trade later on. But so this week, here's what we've got. We've got Daredevil number 3, Cable and Deadpool split second number 2, Bloodshot Reborn number 10, Jupiter Circle volume 2 episode or issue 3, Ringside number 3, Dreaming Eagles number 2, and Last Gang in Town number 2. So we're going to start off with Daredevil number 3. This is by Sol, Garney, and Amelia. I don't know, something like that.
There is a skirmish between the Ten Fingers gang and the Hand gang, and Matt intervenes, and then there's some lawyer stuff that happens.
Mm-hmm. Let's start right off. General impressions of the book.
It's no Wade, you
Right.
know, but it's all right.
It's good, not great. I like Blind Spot a lot. I wish we would get more Blind Spot and less Daredevil, strangely enough.
I'm sure we will at some
yeah.
point, you know, he'll come to prominence.
Slowly building this character up. They play well against each other, but I don't feel like Sol's yet bringing out as much of that dynamic as possible. It's kind of a Batman and Robin dynamic where Blind Spot's pretty loose and fun about how he goes about things. And, he just doesn't quite get why Daredevil's so dour.
Yeah. It's also that I'm ready. No, you're in training. I'm ready. No, you're in training.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. My favorite part of this was Blind Spot is injured, and he says, "Let's get you to the hospital." He says, "Man, I'm undocumented. I don't have insurance.
You got $20,000 to loan me."
Right.
Yeah.
Right. It's Band-Aids and Advil for me. I liked that, and I like that about the character. I think it's cool that he's like a illegal immigrant. It's something I haven't seen before in a superhero comic.
No, I don't think I have either.
How do you feel about the whole Ten Fingers thing? Are you enjoying it?
It's a little different. I think it's a little hokey that they have like 10 fingers versus the hand in there. You know, it's like he was just sitting there and like looking down and trying to figure out something. He's like, okay, well, just 10 fingers versus the hand. That's gonna be my first fucking arc.
Yeah, it's pretty literal.
Yeah.
But I guess I had a feeling that maybe 10 fingers had something to do with the hand, just because like for that exact reason. And go figure. But I also like the fact that Daredevil is explaining to Blind Spot what's going on, and he tells him, you know, it's because he's from the hand. That's why that's why he's got 10 fingers on both hands. Blind Spot's like, that doesn't make any sense, man. That's that's ridiculous. He says, well, it makes sense in the world of Daredevil, and
sure.
By proxy, Daredevil comics, it makes sense inside of them. All in all, I agree. Average issue, okay for Daredevil. It's not Wade. It's not Frank Miller. It's okay.
I did like some of the coloring with the Daredevil colors. I thought they did a good job with that. Like the first, probably like 2/3 of the issue.
Yeah, they're pretty cool. Deadpool and Cable split second. This is Nasicia, Brown, Lyston, Freeman, and Chara Lampidus. Dude, I think I nailed that. I did.
Yeah.
Chara
Nice.
Lampidus, yeah.
I'm impressed. So I really stopped caring about this one about halfway through.
Oh, man, me too.
Yeah. It was like the first few pages, I was like, all right, this is awesome. And then after that, it was just like a slow decline. And then around the time it got to like chapter 4 or whatever in there, because every issue is 2 chapters, it's like, I just don't really give a shit.
I liked chapter 3. The whole time loop Groundhog Day with Daredevil making things, or Deadpool making things worse and worse and worse and worse, and
decapitating the kid on the bike. Got a good laugh at it.
Yeah.
Just accidentally looks back and his sword's in somebody's fucking throat. And he's like, oops!
Yeah. And at a certain point, it just starts getting ridiculous and going completely off the rails, which I thought was hilarious. He does the Groundhog Day thing where he starts to memorize everything. And But then we get this point, I think slightly before that also made me laugh, where Cable's like, we got to end this. He's like, okay, grenades.
Yeah, it's like, fuck it, just kill everybody.
So I thought the first half was really fun. The second half, when they go to the future, was whatever. But it ended strong, too, where we get the big reveal and it goes wacky.
I didn't even get to that point. I got partway into chapter 4 and I just stopped caring.
You just burned
it? And,
wow.
Just done.
The big reveal at the end of chapter 4 is pretty good. When you're ready to go give it another look, you can look at that and see if it interests you. But
I'm noticing this pattern where it's every Deadpool series we pick up, the first issue is really good, and then the second one's kind of meh, and then we're like, well, we'll check out the third one. The third one ends up being meh too, and then it's like, well, we might as well get the fourth one because that's the only one left.
Right.
Yeah, I'm just kind of burnt out on that.
I feel you. Chapter 3 was the strong point for me so far. Chapter 4 I didn't like any more than the first issue, so I'm pretty up in the air on this one. I don't care either way. So let's move on over to Valiant. Let's talk about Bloodshot Reborn number 10. This is Lemire, LaRosa, and some other dude, Reber.
So this launches us about 30 years into the future, and shit gets pretty Mad Maxy over some water.
Right, yeah, I put Bloodshot Mad Max.
Yeah.
Which
There's even a Road Warrior-esque scene.
Straight up, he's driving a tanker truck and they're all attacking his tanker truck. I didn't expect it. I like that they're going out on a limb and doing something weird with it. Mm-hmm. It's written pretty cool. The art's pretty fucking cool looking.
I thought the art is easily the best of the week.
Yeah.
And I was a fan of the art before, but just some of the detail work in this and some of the coloring and stuff, they've clearly jumped up their game.
Yeah, so it's pretty cool looking.
If they maintain this pace, I'm going to be pretty happy with it.
Yeah, and both the pencil and inking and the color work is all really cool. I love old Ray.
Yeah, Old Man Bloodshot.
Yeah, Old Man Bloodshot looks really cool. Weird that when he turns into regular Bloodshot, he just looks like normal Bloodshot again. That's weird, but
it's the nanites, man.
Yeah, they just nanite him up, I guess. All in all, I liked this.
I did too.
It was a cool change of pace. I didn't expect this series to make a 90-degree turn like it did, which is really cool.
I was really curious of where this issue was going to go because 9 pretty much wrapped it up, and I kind of got that feeling like they were just going to get into that pattern of just dragging it out because that's what you do. But he's like, no, fuck it, I'm going to tell a completely different story now, and it's going to have these characters, but in a completely different setting. 30 years in the future. And again, dramatic changes to the artwork. It's almost like a whole different book. Yeah.
We do get kind of a Hawkeye, all new Hawkeye thing where we're getting 30 years in the future, and we do end up coming back to right after issue 9 and doing a little bit of that.
Little bit.
But it's just a little touch of it. So I imagine we'll jump back and forth a little bit. But this was a cool diversion. It really neat. And also, this is Paper Girl's nice in regards to paper quality. So especially the covers are
I think it may be even thicker than Paper Girl's.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. Awesome.
It's like fucking birthday card stock.
Yeah, it's
thick.
Really thick. I don't know if it's possible to tell. It's not. It's thick. It's really cool. Jupiter's Circle, Volume 2, Issue 3. This is Millar Sprouse with Story, Wong, and Sfarsina. Some weird ass name like that.
Skyfox kidnaps the VP, and then what they call him, the Utopian has kind of an identity crisis. He meets Ayn Rand and
we get this whole Ayn Rand sequence that a lot of this hinges off of, And we also have the Lex Luthor stand-in, Hobbs, with his great scheme of like superpowers are it's like a race to the bottom kind of thing, like like an escalating tensions.
Everything. Like it's not enough to have a gun; you have to have a fucking laser gun.
Right. So his solution is this classic. It's like Mark Millar commenting on the superhero mythos, especially Superman, Lex Luthor, where it's this classic, well, we'll take all their powers away.
But then we'll give it to us.
We'll have them instead. Yeah. So, like, the entire build-up, we get pages of him explaining what's wrong with it and why he's doing what he's doing. And then at the end, there's this quick reveal of, like, but really, that's a bunch of bullshit. Like, he just wants the powers.
Yeah.
It's just his way of
justifying it.
Justifying what he's doing, right. And we get this is a lot about justification of why you're doing the things you're doing. Because we get the same thing with the Ayn Rand sequence.
Yeah. Yeah, and then at the end, like, when they catch the bad guys, and then, like, one of them starts crying and shit, and it's like, oh, fuck.
Yeah.
You know, like, oh, wait, this guy's, like, just broke, and he has, like, problems and shit, and they just send him to prison.
Right. Know? And I also it seems like now Millar is going to start straying a little bit from his little vignettes, and
I was going to make that point. Yeah, it kind of caught me off guard that there's, like, some semblance of continuity between, like, the last issue and this one. I wasn't expecting it all, because that's what we've been kind of set up to be, just, you know, little fragments here and there. But yeah, like, the end of 2 definitely does dovetail into this.
Yeah, I think we're going to get one more with this, too. I think we're going to see a conclusion with Skyfox and the Utopian. And I really like the Skyfox angle as well. I don't think he has as clear of a DC or Marvel or major mirror that he's, you know what I mean? Like he's not a stand-in for a Batman, or he's not quite a stand-in for a Green Lantern. He's maybe a mixture of a few of those personalities. But this whole thing with him being like ultra-liberal, kidnapping the vice president to end Vietnam War, like interesting like alternate take on maybe the Watchmen angles that we had from more in the 80s.
Yeah, and again, that gets into like motivations for stuff and like why people are doing things. And, you know, if there were superheroes, you know, back in the 60s, like, why wouldn't they fucking do shit like that? Like, that's a sensible, greater good kind of thing to do, which is, you know, what they're all about.
Right.
But, you know, the way in which you interpret that is... You know,
right. Well, and so we're seeing maybe how some superheroes would react if the story wasn't from such a American-centric lens, right? If we pull back the curtain, at the time, and even up to now, really, all superheroes are normally written in the U.S. from an American perspective. So I think Skyfox, Millar's shown us maybe a more realistic version of where, you know, some people are going to be defectors and disagree with America to a much larger extent than we've maybe seen in the past.
Well, and it's not even like a Red Sun Superman type thing, where, you know, it just happened to be he was born in like another country, and then from there it's, I mean, he is an American,
right?
You know, and he just sees problems with like the way things are going on. So
right, and at that time there were a lot of good people who disagreed and had the opposing viewpoint there. So it's interesting to see that brought into the superhero realm. This was one of my favorites this week.
Easily.
As it usually is, but this one, you know, it had a lot of nuance to it, from that to the Ayn Rand, like a lot of cool stuff here.
Yeah, it's so good. It's kind of like, I mean, it continually surprises me how good this Millar book is.
Yeah, me too. I'm really impressed with his depth here. Good stuff. So now let's talk about Ringside number 3. This is Keating, Barber, Go, and Marr. Is it Marr? Yeah.
Our protagonist gets yelled at and gets his ass kicked again.
First of all, let's talk about the art, because the art's been a big problem for us. It's been kind of a sticking point.
Sure.
I think it's starting to turn around a little bit.
It's getting a little bit better. You know, I would place it like, if not 5, then on the upward sides of 5. Whereas before, I would have put it like around a 3 or a 4, honestly.
Right. It still looks like a first draft of the art.
Like somebody needs to go in and finish it.
Right. You know? Like he should have taken a couple more passes at it, especially because, I mean, who is this guy? What else is he doing? Right? Like,
Yeah.
so it seems like he could go through a couple more times, and there's like multiple dudes on art. I have to assume. Where's the page that tells us? Whatever.
Yeah.
There's like 4 names here, so I assume it's not just one guy doing it. So why can't they do
Better.
more? Like, I think I could almost draw this. I don't mean that to be a dick. Like, I really do think I could almost draw this comic to this quality, and I
don't think I could.
I'm not very good. Like,
I'm not good at all. Like, if you feel confident in your ability, sure, I'll back you up.
I mean, you spend a whole day, right? Like, day and a half per page. Like, if I spent a full day and a half on each page, I think I could almost do this good, and I'm not an artist. So that tells you something about the art quality. But that being said, the characters are always clear. I always know who's who. I always understand the layouts and the scenes. The layout's actually pretty good.
Yeah, I like the layout.
He
I
does
like a lot
good
of the
layout.
perspective and stuff too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, his visualizations and layouts and paneling is all good. It's just seems unfinished.
Fucking crosshatch something like sometimes,
right?
bro.
Just like after you do the pencils, like go back over it again, right? Like
Yeah.
Don't just be like, okay, inking. The coloring is improved. I think that's getting better and helping to make this look nicer. And the story is still really good.
Yeah, I like it, and I like the way that it seems like all of our characters are sort of developing simultaneously, which I really like. I mean, we have some stuff in here that really isn't connected to the main storyline at all, but it gets a good chunk of the issue.
Yeah, there's a good ensemble cast in here, and it continues to zig every time you expect it to zag. Like, it defies your expectations from a writing standpoint, which is awesome. I really like that about it. So if you can handle the kind of low quality art that never leads you astray, but just isn't exciting to look at, if you're a guy that buys books because you want cool imagery, this is not going to do it for you.
But it's a good character drama so far.
It is a good character drama. In fact, the character drama, it's surprising how much good character drama there is in it, because it looks at first glance like it would be pretty...
Yeah, it's a fucking book about professional wrestling.
Right, and it's drawn pretty meh, so it's easy to just look at it and go, oh, I bet that's pretty lame. Like, but it's not. It's a really deep, well-written character drama.
For sure.
Cool. So let's move over now to, what is Aftershock Comics? This is Dreaming Eagles #2 by Garth Ennis and Simon Colby. And it's also got Callis and Steen helping out on some of the art here. Steen's the letterer, actually. Go figure. Callis is the colorist. So you want to run us through this one just a bit here?
We get a lot of the narrator at this point is his dad, his experience becoming a pilot in his first couple missions and that sort of stuff. So as the last one was sort of setting the status quo for the time that they're in when he's actually speaking, this is like setting the status quo for the time that he's speaking about.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's that that segment where you're where you're slowly moving from present into the past through like
Wayne's World transitions.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. It feels like the kind of thing where maybe next issue will be almost all like dialogue in the past, and we'll get little narration boxes. It feels like we're transitioning that direction. Mm-hmm. I was like halfway through this issue before I realized that I was just churning through this narrative without looking much at the beautiful art. Like, it's really good art, and I was just
It's really good.
So enthralled with the story that this is telling that I just burned halfway through. I was literally at the staple page, in the middle, and I was like, oh shit, like
The art's good.
I should like look at this art because it's really nice.
Yeah. If not for Bloodshot, this would be my pick for art of the week. Mm-hmm. But it's definitely high in the running for story and narration of the week. Like, it's dense, but it doesn't feel dense.
Right.
Like, everything has its place. Even the most kind of abstract details become like super important just because of like the way that they're verbalized and such. it's hard to explain exactly.
The voicing, the character voicing is just so good. Like, I have tones for people in my head already of how these guys would sound in real life. Like, it's just, the dialogue is so spot on. And that the narration is dialogue, too, because you get the present day with him telling the story, which makes the narration tone or tonally come through more as voice, right? Because he's telling the story.
Right. We have a face behind the narration. It's
Right.
not just some box. That's,
Right. It's not a disembodied box.
Yeah.
So you feel
Meanwhile, in New York City.
right. You feel like you're being told a story, and man, it's just such a cool story too about these people that really had to fight their asses off to go fight their asses to fight their asses off, right?
Yeah.
Like to get the honor to go get the shit shot out of them. It's pretty badass.
Yeah. Yeah, they worked so hard to get their fucking shitty planes.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. It's really
Yeah.
I really like this title, man.
I do too.
Yeah, cool. Good deal. If you're into, this historic kind of stuff, man, go pick up Dreaming Eagles. I bet it's not hard to get still either, because I haven't heard nothing about it. So you can probably go get number 1 at your local shop, and I definitely recommend it.
I think the hardest thing would probably be finding a shop that carries Aftershock.
Yeah,
that's the title.
That's true. Call around and ask if they have it, and go get it. This is Ennis at his most introspective and
Eloquent.
Yeah, it's very eloquent, and it's just a gripping story, man. I like it a lot. Anything else you want to say about this thing?
Buy it.
Yeah, go buy this one. Dreaming Eagles.
Dryman Eagles.
All right, so we got one more. This is Last Gang in Town. It seems like it was only a couple weeks ago that we were talking about issue number 1, so it's still pretty fresh in my mind. And this is, who are these people? Oliver Dayglow and Brusco.
By the way, back of this, that Batman Bad Blood that came out. Has anybody done or made like the joke about the Taylor Swift song Bad Blood? And
Probably.
because the video was all like superhero-y, and then they come out with Batman Bad Blood.
Was it really?
So yeah,
I haven't seen either.
Taylor Swift is in
Either.
this animated straight to DVD Batman. Okay, so
Maybe she has a video at the end. Maybe they play the song over the credits.
that'd be great. So this one, the band breaks up, and then they decide to go commit a crime because the lady wants them to.
Yeah.
I guess.
I guess so. Like 4 different people throughout this issue say, quote, "You can't buy and sell attitude." They keep saying it over and over again, and I feel like whoever was writing that
Should to take their own fucking advice.
should pay some attention, because it really feels like this is an attempt to buy and sell attitude.
Yeah.
It's just a fucking mess, man.
Yeah, it's kind of stupid too.
Yeah, it's really lowbrow. And just all over the goddamn map for no reason that I can figure out.
Yeah. It's like it's one thing like, and like I hate Fairyland, for example, like the sequence where she was all like knocked out on the ground, and then the Fly had his whole like homesteading experience that ended with him like burning down the thing, and it was like, okay, that's a strange venture, but I'm glad they went there and whatnot. I don't really get the same feeling with this. It's like they take a sort of sideways venture with something, and I'm like, why the fuck was that in here?
Yeah, why do I give a shit? And it's just it's all so on the fucking nose. Like, the joke before he's done telling it, and you didn't laugh when you figured it out either. Like, I don't know, man. And it feels like somebody like who's not British aping British.
There's a couple things in here that add a little bit of authenticity. Let me see if I can find somebody.
And there was even some clever shit like the beginning where he chops off the head and it like bounces around into present day.
Yeah.
Okay, I mean, it's clever, and like made in Hong Kong, like there's all these little little things in here that are really clever, but it just adds up to a fucking hill of beans, man. It's just nothing.
Yeah. Oh yeah, here it was. Giza job. That's pretty British.
It's really hard to do that, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
Hold things up to the screen so people can see it.
Anyway, yeah, I don't really care to read it anymore.
Me neither. I almost put this one down about halfway through.
Yeah, I thought about it too, but it was the last one that I was reading, and I was like, maybe I'm just being lazy. I should probably tough it out, because I already put down an issue halfway through earlier.
Yeah. I seriously thought about it. I said to myself, well, maybe, like, the big thing that we wanted in this issue was to see if it all comes together and starts feeling cohesive, or like there's a reason to keep reading. Like, does it ever hook? Mm-hmm. Right? We said maybe sometimes first issues can be kind of all over the place, trying to, kind of like a pilot, right? So we said, let's give it another issue and see if it all hooks together and makes some sense and makes us want to read it. So I toughed it out, and I shouldn't have bothered. It's fucking garbage, in my opinion. This is one of the lamer things I've read since we've started doing this.
Yeah, I would agree. All right, well, on that note.
Yeah, that's it. Why are we...
You're so blurry.
Why are we fuzzy? What is going on there? Well, that's going to do it for us this week. You can check back with us on Monday when we have a discussion that's probably going to have some controversy with it, you think? You think this will be our most...
Maybe.
Do you think this will be our most controversial video?
Until we do the one to drag that we've been talking about.
Right. Okay, well... what we're going to be talking about is piracy and comic books and how those things go together, what we think about it. Yeah, so that digital piracy is in reading shit without paying for it. Mm-hmm. We have a pretty thorough and long discussion. It's already in the can, as they say. That's an industry term that we know because we're industry professionals. And it's definitely going to piss some people off, I think. So check back on that and yell at us.
Yeah.
Yeah. Other than that, you
yell
can...
at him. And then Facebook, Twitter.
Yeah, Facebook and Twitter and all those other things that are down below. And we're here every Monday and every Thursday morning. We do this every Thursday morning, and then we do something else every Monday morning. So it's kind of a thing. It's a pattern. That's so you know what's coming.
Yeah.
Goodbye.
Like, subscribe. Taylor Swift. See ya.